Bonsoir. I'm the Mademoiselle in Sasa Deuxième Chanel with. Welcome to another video. I know you guys are like, oh my God, you haven't posted. It's been like 2 weeks or so. I apologize. Honestly, I've just been mentally exhausted. I'm super duper tired. I didn't even do 12 days of story time on my personal channel like I do every year, which if you guys are not aware, because I've been getting so many comments like on my main channel as well as this channel, like, oh, why is the background different? I have multiple channels. This is my second channel, aka my Haitian channel. My main channel is the Mademoiselle channel, which is where I do rants, reactions, commentary, content based on Black social issues, as well as talk about scams. I do a little bit of teacher content over there. And then, of course, I have a personal channel where I do story times, vlogs, advice segments, things of that sort. So if you're not aware, these are different channels. I try to make sure they look different. I have a different greeting. The vibes is different. So if you didn't know, now you know. Okay. Currently, I'm filming this on New Year's Eve. So happy holidays. Thank you guys so much for supporting me all throughout 2025. I am still mad I don't have a second plaque. But I will say I could have worked a little bit harder. Okay. Accountability goes a long way. But 2026, we're going to get another plaque. All right. I really hope that you guys are enjoying the holiday. You're spending time with your loved ones. And most importantly, that you are setting new goals for yourself in 2026. Now, I'll say 2025, I've grown a lot spiritually. Okay. I have lit so many candles. If you guys are not aware, a lot of my spiritual gifts are through candles. And when I'm telling y'all, I saved some lives this year. It's a lot just like, yo, like I've done so much this year that I didn't even know that I was capable of doing. Right. So as you guys can tell by the title of today's video, we're going to be doing another KRIK KRAK. This one has to do with spiritual gifts. Usually I read these on my iPad. However, my iPad's dying and it doesn't stay on when it's dying. And I like to like have the screen on the whole time while I'm reading. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to read from my phone, which I mean, a lot of you guys don't care about that, but like I liked how it was like off screen. So of course, as you already know, I never read these stories beforehand. You guys send them to me. We are reading them together. We're reacting together. Please be respectful. Also, if you want to send your stories, please send them to the email right here on the screen. Do not send them anywhere else. Also, my birthday is in about 4 to 5 days. But it's also going to be the anniversary of my aunt's death. So I don't know how I'm going to react. I ain't gonna hold you, but it is my birthday, and I always try to make sure I stay in good spirits no matter what is going on. So a lot of you guys already know that because you follow me on other social media platforms. Shout out to those of you guys who follow me in other places. If you haven't yet, what are we doing? Bagay on back. Okay, go follow me. All right. A lot of you guys have been sending things to my PO box as well as buying things on my Amazon wish list, which if you do, it goes directly to me. You don't have to pay for postage or anything. No pressure. But if you want to get me anything, everything is linked down below. Thank you guys so much again. So let's get into this. So this title was interesting. Okay. It was titled Spiritually Confused and Maybe Gifted. So I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting, right? Hi, I'm on my own spiritual journey that's getting kind of wild. I don't know where to begin. So I start when I was young and had an interaction with maybe an entity or a deity that could be God or angel or something like that, where I couldn't move my body in bed. It wasn't sleep paralysis. There was something there trying to help me. I guess I should explain further. This is a period of my life and still is in many had where I have heavy negative thoughts. I was having a real bad one during this time, and the experience scared me. Okay. I think she meant to say scared me out, freaked me out in a way. The experience is kind of hard to explain. What's hard to explain to me is how y'all don't proofread in the grammar checks. But as a teacher, okay, yes, I'm a dance teacher. And I make my kids write because technically you still have to write as part of dance. It's scary to see what's gonna happen in the future because you know all these teachers keep talking about how like the kid can't read, the kid can't read, the kid can't write, the kid can't articulate. Like, child, like, okay, I'm gonna try to correct as I read. Okay, the experience is kind of hard to explain to you. I could already tell why they were there immediately, and they want me to stop the negative thoughts I had and want me to make like kind of a promise to stop it. And I thought, yes. Then was able to move slightly. Then I was being a smartass, saying Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I have no idea what you're saying. I hope it starts to make sense later. Pretty much say to keep the promise on those days, then my body stops fully moving, including my eyes. Only one of my hands was able to move, and I tried to fully open my eyes with it, but I couldn't. Not even a little until I thought, fine, okay. If you want to know what this negative thought is, it was kind of PORN related. I am not trying to get demonetized. Okay. And I was around 9 to 10 at the time. I was about 9 to 10 at the time, and that's all I feel comfortable saying. Another spiritual experience I had when I was younger, when I think I accidentally astral projected just very shortly into my dress drawer, then woke up. I had weird other stuff happen in my dream when I was younger, but explaining it at all feels like it will take too long and be confusing. And I also forgot some part about it because it's been so long ago. Yeah, please, because this is already very confusing. And I hope when I edit this, it doesn't sound off. My spiritual gift seems to progress as I've gotten older, where I've discovered one of my past lives through numerous coincidences that I'm one of the founding fathers of America, now living as a Black woman, or maybe one of the ancestors, which makes a lot more sense. You know, I never tend to believe these stories, like whether I see it on Discovery Channel, a TikTok post, or when you guys write them to me, because it's just like where I, I don't know. I do believe those stories, however, where it be like, I don't know if you've seen like those documentaries of people like, oh my God, I think my kid was reincarnated. They're doing pilot type things. They're able to fly a plane by the age of 14 and they had no knowledge of it prior, like shit like that. Okay. I'm more inclined to believe than, oh, I dreamed of this and I think I'm da 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 in the past life. Like, of all the spiritual gifts I have, of all the spiritual experiences I have almost every freaking day, I've never had any glimpse of my past life. I hate that. I would love to know who I was in a past life, or maybe I'm a new spirit. I don't know. But I don't know. These shits always give psychosis to me. I'm not saying like that person isn't psychosis. I'm just saying like it always just gives maybe, maybe not, more than likely not than is. But yeah, yes, I know it's crazy to explain how I came across that. Might make me sound even more crazy. So I won't get into it any further. I'm happy you saved us all the trouble. So anyway, I've been getting more aggressive with my spiritual journey or gifts after my father passed, and he revealed himself to me by voice, sight, and through dream. I'm very sorry for your loss, which was cool and scary at the same time. He haven't revealed himself to me in a while. I think he knows I get too scary easily and my brain gets fried when he does spiritual phenomenon stuff. And now he either is doing spiritual stuff because I saw my father with wings and a sword, or he's keeping his distance where I can't detect him anymore and still secretly watch him here and there. This is the thing. If a spirit reveals themselves to you and you're too freaked out about it, they're not gonna come back early because they don't want to scare you. My mom is like that. She sees things all the time, but since the people that come to her know that she's a scared ass person, they just tend to not do it as often. So that is a thing. After those intense experiences, I've been going down this rabbit hole of unconscious collective interaction connected to everyone and witchcraft. Well, this really started after I made a connect with a celebrity who I was falling head over heels for. Of course, we never met in person, but somehow we met in some dimension world in a dream. Whatever it was, I know it's more than a dream because when I woke up, my eyes were still in the animation, like fire purple through my eyes, while still opening and closing them for a few seconds. I think the celebrity knows witchcraft or something like that because somehow I saw them in my doorknob naked. I just screamed surprise and happy at the same time. Of course, I was a little scary, but it was way too cool to not be intrigued with all the other complicated emotions. I do know when I fall deeply in love with someone, I also somehow have the ability of interacting with them in some way. Like meeting them more than usual or in strange circumstances. Like I'm attracting them with a love spell somehow without conjuring one, if that makes sense. It's something telepathy. I forgot what that's called, but it's some sort of telepathy. Because me and my man are kind of like that. Like if I feel some type of way, he feels some type of way, even if we're nowhere near together. Like if we're completely apart. So like he could always tell when something's wrong with me. I could always tell when something's wrong with him. Which would make sense as weird as it sounds, which I made contact with the celebrity in the first place and why they did the same. I guess they felt my energy and tried to locate the source, which was me. However, why I actually started practicing witchcraft was because I fell in love again with someone, a social media influencer who wants to see and believe in ghosts. This story is literally all over the place. I don't even know how to even give my opinion on this because a lot of it is a lot. So I'm just going to keep reading. Okay. I made several interesting attempts with witchcraft. One was where I think I saw the ghost, deity, or entity. They looked like four dimension like being, only saw their hand move and were transparent or gray. Like, and shows me a piece of paper with a human sketch out with these horizontal lines that stop at the mouth, it seems. I was in bed and thought I was imagining things because my head was hurting. So I turned around and the being I felt seemed shocked by this. I fell asleep and hear them say, "You always have trouble thinking." I saw myself floating around the big bubbles that seemed like a soul, and I was somehow part of them in this bright and peaceful space. And that day, the social media influencer was sick and couldn't do ghost hunting. And I ended up finding a 4-day gig that was far, but was able to make more money than usual. I don't know if the being had anything to do with it. Two other attempts didn't seem to work until my final attempt led him to a cult place where he said it felt creepy, but still doesn't believe in ghosts, which was good enough for me. Being a baby witch, I consider myself. This is why people don't take witchcraft serious. And I hate to be that person. I really do, but as somebody that knows legitimate witches, who have either been born into it or legitimately study and they find a witch to teach them, I hope I understand that witchcraft, obia, voodoo, shamanism, kumba, hoodoo, like, this is not something you just pick up. Like, I hope y'all know that, right? Like, this is why I constantly say I don't practice because A, I don't have a mentor. B, I'm working with my own gifts and my own ancestors and whatever law that I need to get something done. But I don't sit there and like practice. Like, to practice is more than just reading books and buying crystals and getting a deck of cards. And social media has some way, somehow enabled people to think that they're witches, when they're not. That's why I'm never gonna sit there and call myself a witch or a practitioner or whatever. I just have gifts and I use them when need be for the people that I love and care about in my life. That's it. I'm not about to take on the title of anything because I know the hard work and dedication it takes to do that. I'm not saying this person does it, but I see this trend on with a lot of the people's stories that I read where it's like, oh, I'm a witch, I'm a this, I'm a that. And it's like, you outlined your whole life story, and it's like, I don't know. And most witches and stuff like that, like they're not open about it. They don't go around like, oh, I'm a witch. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, but let's keep it. So the contact with this influencer guy was technically, I thought our consciousness was linked because he kept saying he doesn't believe in the paranormal stuff and he's kind of religious, I think. So I just thought I just had to access his unconscious true self. But I wonder, did I really did? Oh my God. The English major. So if you guys don't, I am an English broadcast journalism major with a concentration in journalism. And then I have my master's in public relations. So yeah, I'll have a typo here and there, but like this is just bad grammar. So like when I see stuff like this, it just like stresses me out. Cause like really, like, do y'all read these before y'all send them? Come on. Or does he believe and have some kind of gift like I do in some way and is just lying? I still don't know if I'm gifted or in my mind or kind of a bit schizophrenic somehow. I tell you it is giving schizophrenic only because I know people who are schizophrenic. I have family members who are schizophrenic. It is low key giving that, but maybe it's not. I'm not a mental health professional. But there are too many coincidences to just be that. And I still don't know all of my spiritual gifts are. Like, for instance, I get this alertness feeling and then a bottle pop sound happens. And I know it did because my dog jumps hearing it. Yet wondering, am I popping the bottle mentally somehow? Not only that, when I was in a job interview and was in depression, the question they had asked spiritual trigger me while while I was in a job interview and I was in a depression, the question that they had asked me spiritually triggered me while they asked it. Where this entity and this dark ball came in, and the interviewers seemed to both felt what I felt and looked panicked. But I quickly stopped it, and the entity and the dark ball energy disappeared. I guess. Shortly after that, the interviewers seemed to rush throughout the entire interview to get me out of there. It was like she didn't want me to speak after that experience. After that, I dream up this Persona 5 with Joker main persona with this giant black ball and was given a chance to sort of get a wish from it, but refused and went to a window and jumped backwards out of it. Okay. Then when I finally found a job, I felt this yellow ball energy in my heart and throat when handling a difficult caller. Anyway, is there any advice to give me into, especially since I live with my mom and she is hard loving Christian, but she is open minded? I just think she's not with her daughter doing witchcraft and that devil magic open minded. I don't think it's devil magic. It's just human nature and magic, in my personal opinion. Also, since I might know a kind of hidden secret in the Hollywood world and why it may be satanic looking sometime, you see it all connected to Yahweh, Christian, God, and Prometheus, Christian, Lucifer. If you want to know more of this other rabbit hole deep dive, look into Gnostic perspectives, but think God is evil and Lucifer is actually good. What my belief I want to be true is God made some mistakes trying to fix his wrong, is good God and trying to fix Lucifer's reputation alongside with him, but it might be wishful thinking. I ended up thinking this because of a YouTube podcast topic about gods, aliens, and the secret behind the world's religions. However, I saw something else to take into consideration related to a YouTube documentary of the Marvel creator of the Silver Surfer and Galactic Killer and how he seems to possess and have an exorcism at the age of 9, I believe. Hope you don't think I'm too crazy. I haven't told anyone these experiences because I know I would sound nuts, and not to sound even more nutty, I did leave some of the other spiritual experiences and encounters out. Also, want to say I love your videos and they are helping me with my spiritual journey that seem to be taking a lot of complicated directions. Okay. First thing first, thank you so much for sharing your story. Second thing, please be nice in the comments. Third thing, I think you need a psychological evaluation. This is coming from someone with bipolar 2, generalized anxiety, used to have PTSD, no longer have it, and ADHD, binge eating disorder. My main diagnosis is bipolar disorder. I was on meds for years, stopped taking my meds because honestly, I felt like I was ready to come off of them. I've been in active therapy for at least 7 years or so. Specifically because honestly, I really liked it. I liked having a unbiased party to consistently listen to me. And also since I'm no longer on meds, I think it is important to at least have some medium of mental health uh care. First of all, if you're gonna deal with any type of spirituality, right? Knowing that you are prone to depression, you have bipolar, you are schizoaffective, you have borderline personality, whatever, you have to be able to discern the difference between spiritual activity and just mental hallucinations, etc. That's why I'm so happy I've never had hallucination because then I wouldn't know how to navigate. Because hallucinations can sometimes look similar to spiritual interference. But you'll know, like if you're truly gifted or if you're truly a witch or whatever, you'll know the difference. So I can't tell you what to feel. I can't tell you if you're crazy or not. Personally, I feel like a lot of this sounds a little off. So that's why I'm telling you to get a mental eval because I want everyone to take care of themselves, right? And not just fall off the deep end and do things that may be harmful to them or others because they think something is what it is not. Especially when it comes to different types of diagnoses. A lot of times perception and perspective is reality. However, that does not make it true. You may sit there and think, oh, I am going through this. This is what happened to me. This is what this person said to me. They must hate me. Or, oh, I saw this. This is real. I know I saw this shit in my closet, but it really isn't. So it's like that's the only advice I have for you because this story sounds batshit. Oh, this, and I've had some shit on this channel, but this one, it's a lot going on. Okay, from the celebrity aspect, I feel like it started getting crazy after the situation with your dad. I feel like your dad probably really did come to you because that's something that happens very frequently to a lot of people. But the rest of it is like communicating with celebrities that you don't know, it's a lot going on. Okay. So again, thank you so much for sharing your story. Let's get into this next one. And of course, please leave advice for this person down below. Crack. You already know. This is more so for clarity and just genuine curiosity. I've been battling an alcohol addiction on and off for the past 10 years. I haven't shaken that spirit yet, despite my gifts. The only reason I provide this info for context is because I truly feel in depth of my soul that once I'm able to permanently release it, that things will shift drastically. Logically, it doesn't make sense why I'm still fighting this, even though I've released it time and time again. Hmm. Fun fact, alcoholism a lot of times is tied demons and spiritual activity, interference, curses, and stuff like that. Maybe one day I'll do a video about it, but honestly, I'm still not real versed in the topic. But I do know a few people that have struggled with addiction, but specifically alcohol, and it was spiritual interference. A lot of times it was a generational curse type of vibe. Maybe I'll talk about that on my membership, which I'm gonna be dropping some videos on the membership. Make sure you guys sign up. This year is gonna be great because I've been asking my friends permissions, like, hey, can I tell your story about the situation where you didn't listen to me and now we're all fucked? Yeah. So, stay tuned for that, but it probably is connected, or maybe I mean, it could be genetic as well, right? Anywho, I'm curious what the possible reasons could be for me not recalling dreams or even dreaming at all. For the past 8 years, I had been dreaming almost on a daily basis. It was so frequent that my bad dreams weren't even nightmares anymore, just experiences that I knew I would wake up from. I dreamt so much that demons in my dreams wouldn't scare me anymore. I would dead ass just fight them or face them. That is the story of my life. But it's funny because the only reason I knew someone said something after me about like a year or so ago was because I stopped dreaming completely. And I was like, that's a problem because I'm a dreamer. A lot of my answers, okay, like to spiritual stuff comes from dreams, candles, and just premonition. I don't have premonitions often, especially not while like I'm fully awake. So a lot of times I have to rely on my dreams to tell me the answers. And literally I stopped getting answers for like over a year and I was like, what the fuck? My YouTube started plummeting. It was bad. Okay. If you guys watched my main channel, y'all would know. Like at one point I was financially struggling. I had to get a GoFundMe. It was the whole thing. And I had to do a nice little return to sender. I had to cleanse the fuck out of myself. So could be interference in a way. There was a specific dream that I had that was completely different from any other dream I've had in my life thus far. I'm going to spare you the details, but I was basically shifting through realms. There was a certain point in the dream where I was going on this journey with a toddler who resembled my son. I felt like it was my duty to lead myself and this child to safety. We were running from something that was trying to harm or kill us. Simply put, this child turned into an alien once we found solace and wasn't able to register or accept the fact that his face and body were changing. Once it clicked, I screamed and I ran. We were laying down on a mattress on the floor. At this point, my body was split. I was standing outside of the bedroom, looking into the bedroom through an adjacent door, I think, and I could see the alien standing next to the bed, hovering over me and taunting me for not being able to speak. I couldn't move either. Perspectives changed, and it was me on the bed, unable to speak, and seeing the alien's face hover over me. I was stuck, and he jumped on my throat to silence me. I hoarsely, softly, and shallowly kept saying, "You bitch," over and over again because I was fighting for breath. Someone says some shit after you because this is not a normal type of dream. Perspectives change because I am watching the alien to do this to me through the cracked door. The alien spots me, frowns, and makes an ugly face. As soon as he does, he runs to the door and shuts it in my face. I couldn't turn back down the hallways because everything was pitch black. I woke up saying, "You bitch, you bitch, you bitch," and gasped for air. Once I woke up, I could not breathe. I was so shaken up once I sat up because it literally felt like I was going to die. To this day, I've never woken up fighting to breathe. Fast forward, I don't really dream anymore. I haven't felt connected to my ancestors as much as I was before. I recently restored the connection last week. Shortly after that, my dream, career, and finances took a bigger dip than it was before, and I got diagnosed with PTSD. I'm not the type to believe anyone is trying to end me spiritually via spells because I don't think people would be that depraved. But I can honestly say someone was probably trying to siphon my soul life for their personal gain. What's your opinion? I think exactly the same. Someone's either trying to use your energy to fuel theirs, or someone sent something after you for something that they think you did, or they just don't fuck with you. Which usually it's not usually nigga don't fuck with you, so they gonna send something after you. Like I said, perception and perspective can be reality for a lot of people. This is why I choose to really communicate. Like I overly communicate because I used to have really bad communication issues and I used to be like so mad at the world and just cut niggas off all the time. Well, I still cut niggas off all the time because you know what the fuck you're doing, especially when I communicate with you and you basically said what you did. Like that's crazy. But in a lot of different aspects, a lot of times we perceive something in a way and we think it's malicious and it's not. And unfortunately, some people go to magic instead of fucking picking up the phone and calling someone and saying like, I don't like what you did. It made me feel some type of way. Instead, they want to send a monster after you to kill you. Okay, they want to send a demon to do their bidding. So be very, very careful. I would suggest going to get a reading and going to get a cleanse if you're Catholic. I don't know, Protestant. go to them, get a prayer, again, get a cleanse, because this is only going to get worse. This is only a beginning, and more than likely, it is a warning. Of course, comment down below, leave some advice for this person. Thank you guys so much for trusting me with your stories and always sending stories for me to read. It's very interesting because I feel like I can really relate to a lot of you guys. It's kind of scary because a lot of the stuff that's happened to me, I've never shared publicly, but I will start sharing on my membership. So if you guys are interested, please make sure you join. Shout out to all of you guys who have joined. I love you guys so very much. Again, Happy New Year. I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye.